Welcome, leaders, teams, and those ready to take charge of their energy. It's Kelly Buboltz, your guide in workforce energy management. Burnout is not just a buzzword, it's a symptom of deeper root cause stressors. We're here to stop waiting for the change and start leading it. It's time to reclaim our energy and lead our days with intention and purpose. I think it's pretty universal at this point that everyone has been in some sort of hardship, and that could be something in the past. It could be something you're going through right now. It could be something that's happening close to you and you can feel the effects of it. And so how we move through this, it can shape us. It can shape us in the paths we take next. It can shape us in how we feel about one another. It can shape us on our perspective of this world. And one quote that has just continually come up over and over in my lifetime that reminds me of what direction to go, A or B, is from Mr. Rogers. All right. So from being a kid, he was an idol to look up to, a common voice that brought balance maybe when you were a child. And he had this great quote, and it was looking for the helpers. The quote said, "When I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, 'Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping.'" Do you see how that could stick with you a long time? Because what we consume and what we focus on, that directs our energy and our experience. So it's pretty easy these days to focus on the chaos, the catastrophes happening all around the world. You go on social media and it completely can flip your mood in one scroll. So I want to dissect this quote and break it down a little bit into practical tips for this hardship journey. Let's break it down. Looking for the helpers. Look for the helpers. It's about intentionally shifting focus from this chaos, from the chaos and hard season you're in, to support, from fear to hope. And helpers can be people, but it also can be small reminders of good, of the kindness in this world, of the resilience of humans, of the resources all around your community. And when you can focus more on what this quote is saying, looking for the helpers, you can go on this energy path of hope and gratitude and growth, giving yourself some grace. But when we get lost in the external of the news and whatever people want to feed us, the fear mongering, you can end up on an energy drainer path full of fear and anger and despair. And what we focus on matters. So our attention is like a spotlight. What we shine it on, that becomes our reality. I can be standing next to a person, we're looking at the same thing, and our perception of the object, the room, the people, the vibe can be completely different from our perspectives, because what we're focusing on is our own reality that we have shaped. And hardship can make it easy to be overfed with the energy drainer paths of that fear, anger, and despair. And when you don't shift your mindset, it can eat you up day after day. It puts in that helpless and hopeless burnout state of why try? So shifting our mindset during these hardship times, it doesn't remove it, all right? It doesn't remove the event, the situation that you're in, but it helps you navigate, take that next step with more clarity and strength. So let's go through 4 practical tips for this hardship journey. Now, if you've been listening to these episodes, you know I have been on a journey. I not only burnt out, I had complete physical collapse of burnout. I started my company. I had to make some very hard decisions in this process. I had to move. I got divorced. 70% of the people in my life left when I stopped people pleasing, always giving and never receiving, creating those boundaries. And so I had to completely reroute my life. It was like hardship after hardship, and then slammed in the face with hardship. And some of these practical tips that I'm going to go through helped me stay on that path. When people say, "How did you do it?" I had to put myself in check often, because that journey almost swallowed me whole, because it was suffocating me with hardship anytime that I woke up. And so these practical tips help me not only find my path, but find a path that was so aligned and full of energy that that's where I'm at today. And it took years. I'm not going to lie, it took years, but every step, every tip that I'm going to share with you today aided in that way that I stayed on the right path of energy versus completely consumed by what people wanted me to do, by the old paths and behaviors and habits that got me onto the wrong path in the first place. So let's go through these tips. The first one I want to talk about is limiting negative inputs. That sounds so simple, but let me tell you, it is not easy because this world is completely driven on the negative. Drama sells. News outlets don't make money unless there's complete chaos going on. So limiting negative inputs is not as simple than you think, but also 100% in your control, which I thought was super empowering. Reducing that doom scrolling, the news binges, just turning it off, or finding channels like community channels that are more uplifting and, again, highlighting the helpers in the world. Those conversations that drain you, being okay with walking away from them. Those people that are drama dwellers, gossipers, being okay not hanging around with them. Limiting negative inputs helped get rid of that pullback into the negative so I could stay on this energetic path. The second tip I want to talk about is actively seeking those helpers. Surround yourself with uplifting voices. Those mentors, friends, books, podcasts that just bring you joy. I remember on some of my darkest days, I would listen to certain podcasters and I just felt better. I have no idea who these people are, but they're giving me something to desire, something to look forward to, some semblance of hope. And they got me through it. There is no doubt. And interestingly enough, now that I'm in the chapter that I am, I don't listen to them very much. But on my low days, I know exactly who to go back to. I know exactly what books I need to read. So actively seeking those helpers and surrounding yourself with them also makes this energetic path a little bit easier to guide because you're removing the negative from tip 1. You're adding in more positive, and I'm not talking about those toxic positivity type people. I'm talking about the balanced, grounded, uplifting type of voice that your next step is the right one. Tip 3 is creating daily grounded practices. Is that when you wake up in the morning, you do some gratitude journaling, some self-growth or self-love type of journaling? Do you do mindful breathing, meditation, just sitting with yourself, navigating through that noise, setting small intention for the day? And I thought that was kind of ick. Like when you hang out with yourself and you're not used to hanging out with just yourself, it can be this big ick. But the more you practice it and then the more you extend it, the more comfortable you'll get with it. And to tell you the truth, the more that I started journaling and being with myself in the morning, the easier the rest of the day got. People still suck. You'll run into complications and challenges, but they just hit you less. You got this resiliency armor that is just bouncing off of you because you've grounded yourself even before the day could steal your joy. So create a daily ground practice that you want to do that's just going to center yourself. It can be 5 minutes, it can be 15 minutes, it can be an hour. Whatever you can make time for, ground yourself, setting that small intention for the day. And I promise you, things are going to bounce off way easier. And it's going to show up in weird ways. There's going to be someone that totally sucks in the grocery store. And you look at them and it doesn't even bother you anymore. Like you're not even fazed by it. Whereas before you're like, whoa, well, what's wrong with that person? I ran in, how come people act like this? You're just not even involved in that type of energy anymore. And then you know that this practice is lifting you up. Tip 4 is reframing the question. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Right? You're stuck in victim mode of like, why is the world happening to me? Why can't it just be easier? I want you to reframe the question. What can I learn? Who can I lean on? Where is this guiding me? Where's the good I can still see? And it will begin to appear because what we focus on amplifies. What we focus on grows. So when you start to look at what am I learning? What am I shifting towards? What good can I see? Where's the helpers? Looking for the helpers. You'll start to see it all around you and realize there's a whole world of kindness that we've been ignoring. There's a whole world of kindness that just hasn't had enough focus and light on it, and it will be amplified. And between limiting the negative inputs, actively seeking helpers around you, creating that grounded practice, and reframing the question, you'll see that this more energetic path isn't as difficult as it once was. Hardship will test where we put our energy. We can't always control the circumstance, but we can choose where we focus. This week, practice looking for the helpers in small or big ways. Because as Mr. Rogers said, look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. Today's step matters. It's in the micro moments that real change begins. Managing your energy isn't about shame, blame, or disrupting your lifestyle. It's about the small, intentional choices to reclaim that natural energy. If this episode hit the mark for you, share with others. This journey doesn't have to be lost and lonely, but exciting and full of new paths. See you back here to continue the adventure.